Good morning and welcome to the Fundraising in Days of Social Distancing. I was looking at this morning and I thought it is such a difficult time, and yet I'm so impressed with how well Rotarians are adapting to the changes around you. When I started talking to clubs back in March, you were concerned about how to stay connected with your club members, and you solved that by searching for resources like Zoom and Google Teams, and you were amazing as you managed to find ways to hold virtual meetings. But then, just when you started to feel comfortable with that focus, both the governor of Washington State and the premier of British Columbia stopped all gatherings in public locations. You could still meet virtually, but for most clubs, you lost your ability to host your fundraiser. But we're going to work together today and brainstorm some ideas and set some goals. We're going to consider what pre-COVID is compared to working during COVID and then post-COVID, because that will come too. Know why you need a fundraiser, know who you're engaging, know what you would enjoy being part of, consider what works virtually, and be considerate of the financial situation of your community, because things are moving fast, but we're all in this together. Events are being challenged, like Centralia. They had to cancel both their big fundraisers, and it matters in their community because there are hundreds of children they support with the Dolly Parton Library. And then there's Bainbridge Island, and they had to cancel their big auction this year. Do you know they raised $500,000 in a day? That's a lot of community support that will not be there this year. But the club is not stepping back. They're starting to plan and advertise for the 2021 event. It's already scheduled, and they're promoting it as a big bash for their 60th anniversary. And you can see by that graph just how much they put into their community. And it will continue. Other clubs will be canceling events. At this point, we don't know if postponing events will still be happening when we look at the fall. We may not be able to hold them then if there's another outbreak. It is time we have to make a plan for the potential of postponing till later, a plan for going to a completely virtual event so social distancing is not an issue, a plan for what you will do post-COVID when life goes back to normal. If you don't already have a fundraising team in your club, this is the time to gather them together over a Zoom meeting and share ideas and brainstorm. But let's start with why. It's the biggest question we need to ask. Why do you need to raise these funds? Sometimes we just do things because it's a pattern. Sometimes we do things because we've always done them. Right now, I know that many of you really do know the big why. You responded in your community because the need caused by COVID-19 was so immediate and so intense. You supported food banks and kept school lunch programs going, and you supported your emergency responders. You have been absolutely amazing. But going forward, it'll be maybe a time to have a discussion on what really matters, to carefully consider all the areas of your community where you provide funds. There's some of those things are more important than others. Would you be okay if you were a little more selective? It's time to think about the things you haven't done and look at the people that need your help. I spoke with a Rotarian who's involved in a major fundraiser. It's a gigantic annual event where the community comes on board and supports it. It's a tradition, but the why they support it wasn't strong enough when COVID-19 hit. Let's listen to Kevin's story.
Hi, I'm Kevin Hilgers with the Rotary Club of Victoria Harborside. I wanted to share with you a fundraiser and how it grew and how it evolved when a crisis occurred. Dream Home Lottery, as the name implies, build a home, raffle it off. Now, I've only got 5 minutes, so I'm going to go through a few details. If you want to give me a shout afterwards or swap some ideas, I'd be happy to do so. But the first year we made $250,000, and then we started to grow from there. But I wanted to evolve this fundraiser because we sell tickets for 17 weeks and it was a lot of labor. We sold tickets at retail outlets, at a mall outlet. First of all, we went digital. We have to adhere to the local regulations and laws of the land with gaming, and we did, but we were able to start emailing tickets and got totally away from paper tickets. We also ended the practice of selling tickets at retail stores. It was just a lot of labor, driving around, picking up these tickets or picking up cash. We ended that practice as well. I also realized we were training our customers to go to the mall to buy tickets. And it was also a lot of labor for us. So we ended that practice as well. It was a bit of a gamble because we sold a lot of tickets at the mall, but we wanted to drive tickets to where it's efficient. And that's online, winadreamhome.ca. And we did. So we were selling tickets annually and the profits grew, as did the lottery. We were making $600,000 annually, $800,000. The last few years, well over $1 million profit for the Rotary Club of Grand Prairie. And every year we grew, but this year it changed. Remember, we sell tickets from January till the end of April, 17 weeks. In February, March of 2020, the Russians started arguing with the Saudi Arabians about the price of oil. The economy went in the tank, and so did our fundraiser. Ticket sales were off 20%. And that's considerable. When you're selling $3.5 million worth of tickets, when ticket sales are off 20%, it was quite worrisome. And then COVID-19, we had to physically shut down the show home. Well, we sell a lot of tickets at the show home, at the Dream Home, and it stopped us in our tracks. I tracked ticket sales week by week. The final week in March, we were off 75% ticket sales, and that was a disaster. We were still going to make money. We thought, okay, we'll make a bit of money and we'll be okay and we'll hold our head up. But I was inspired by something that happened on Vancouver Island. The local newspaper, Times Colonist, came up with a rapid relief fund. They were raising money for COVID-19 and organizations impacted by COVID-19. And even at my Rotary Club, we put our Happy Sad Bucks towards the Rapid Relief Fund. I realized people still wanted to help their community, but all they wanted to talk about was COVID-19. I went to my club with an idea. I said, let's stop. Can we announce effective April 1 that some of the proceeds will go to a rapid relief fund in Northern Alberta? So we tweaked the ideas a little bit. The club helped smooth over a few thoughts and how we could do it legally with gaming regulations, but they agreed and we did it. Starting April 1, the announcement was all ticket sales for the Dream Home Lottery, 50% of the proceeds would go towards the Rapid Relief Fund. We were making money. We thought we'd do all right because we were past the break-even point by a long shot. So we were able to do this. And the Rapid Relief Fund went to local food banks in the region. Well, ticket sales rebounded. In fact, in April, we sold more tickets than April 2019. And in the end, we were able to make a profit of over $1.3 million and put $250,000 towards this Rapid Relief Fund. And it gained us immense press. It was very positive in the community. I'm going to share screens and I'll show you our website that we have for the winadreamhome.ca. This is the lottery. It's of course closed now because we gave away the home at the end of April 2020. This is ticket sales. Tickets are $100, 3 for $250, etc. We also have the 50/50 and the cash calendar lottery. So that's our website at winadreamhome.ca. I want to share with you, though, the headline that was in the newspaper. The Rotary Club of Grand Prairie raised over $250,000 towards the food banks with this Rapid Relief Fund that we devised towards the end of March. So what's the moral of the story? Well, you have to be prepared to grow, to evolve, to change your fundraisers, maybe even end your fundraiser and start something brand new. We have a very successful fundraiser, but we had to stop in 2020 and change our thinking, change the game plan completely, and change where the proceeds are going to maintain the interest of the consumer so they would still support us. And they did. April 1, 50% of Dream Home ticket sales would go to the Rapid Relief Fund, and we did it. In the end, we were successful, not quite as successful as 2019, but still over $1.3 million profit for the Rotary Club of Grand Prairie and $250,000 to the Rapid Relief Fund for for those local food banks. We can hold our head up high that we did very well, but only because we stopped and we turned things around midstream and raised money for something that was dear to people's heart at that time, a rapid relief fund to help people impacted by COVID-19. Be prepared to evolve with the times, with technologies and the news headlines, and you'll continue to be successful. If you want to talk more, my name is Kevin Hilgers, Rotary Club of Victoria Harborside. You can email me, kev@gowave.ca, or call my cell. I'd be happy to swap ideas with you. Thanks, and best of luck with the rest of your sessions, with our sessions that we're having here today with Rotary District 5020.
And if you want to talk to Kevin about it, because you really should, that he has such a good story, give him a call. That's his email address, that's his phone number. He told me he really would like to talk to people about it. And hey, you might even want to run a lottery of that size. Why not? Talk to Kevin, give him a call. And there are other things that you can do. I was talking to Derek, a Rotarian from Nanaimo, and we had a long conversation about a virtual auction, a pay-it-forward concept where all the items are associated with COVID-19. And I'm just going to share the concept, as Dale and I will go into later, about the number of sites available for putting on an online auction. I just want to talk about the why. For example, this is how this pay it forward goes. I could donate a case of craft dinner to the auction. You could bid on it, and the money you pay would go to the Rotary Club, but the craft dinner would still go to the food bank. Or there could be a frontline worker who cannot stay at home because of their shift at a hospital, and so they need a safe place to stay. So I could donate my little suite in my carriage house, and people paid tonight that frontline worker was there, and Rotary would get all the funds that were raised, and that worker would have a safe place to stay, and I would have made the donation. And it would make me feel good because I was helping someone. It's very direct, it's very personal, and it makes you feel the why. In fact, I have somebody coming to stay in my suite at 2 o'clock in the morning today, because it's a young man from Italy, and he can't go move in with his parents when he gets home. I've never met him, but they're school teachers, and they couldn't go to work if he moved into their house. And so he's making a donation to my Rotary Club to make that happen. Pretty exciting stuff. So there are a lot of who when you're involved in a fundraiser. When you do your planning session, think about that who. It all starts with your club members. You can benefit from the actions of individual members with great ideas. Take Roger. When COVID-19 struck, he wanted to do something, so he advertised on his Facebook page that he would repair bikes for a donation. You leave your bike at the end of the driveway with your donation, and he'd let you know when to come back and pick it up. And he asked the donation be at least $35. Do you know that he's already turned over $6,000 to his club for his single efforts? And there's another Rotarian doing the same thing with silk scarves. She can't make them fast enough for the demand, and has made several thousand for her club on the internet. Just imagine if one person can do that. Think of the creativity of an entire club. It is so important to involve everyone in your brainstorming so that you get buy-in and enthusiasm. It's a wonderful way to replace fear with positive activity. You may find you have members expressing their fears, and you can brainstorm ways to overcome them. I was thinking of one example. You may have members who simply are not comfortable with technology. If that is the case, come up with a plan to hire a service for whatever virtual fundraiser you do. There are so many people that you can hire right now that can do that for you. Don't let anything stop you or slow you down. Oh, I love this. I love this poster. It's actually for an event that the Tacoma 8 Club put on, but really, I think it speaks to our sponsors, because they really are our heroes in the support they give our clubs. If you have an event you have to cancel or postpone, I'm urging you right now, contact your sponsors. Let them know what's happening. Ask them how they're doing. Let them know that they're appreciated. there was the Silverdale Club did this really well.
I'm Rick Soper with the Silverdale Rotary, letting you know that we had to cancel the duck race this year because we want to pivot over into COVID-19 relief. Now, this was not an easy decision for us to make. We look forward to doing duck race every year. I can't tell you how many times as I'm selling duck race tickets, people are racing across the parking lot with $20 in their hands, so happy to buy a ticket, and that's the kind of joy that you want to participate in. But there's way too many hands involved. Too many people have to transfer ducks from place to place, tag them, and do everything else for us to do this logistically right now. But what we can do is go back to our sponsors, which we have, and many of them have stepped up and said, we are willing to give to COVID-19 relief. Now, we know a lot of people are economically disadvantaged in this, but there are others that still are working and they want to give back. And we're going to provide you with donation information on the screen here for you to be able to do that if you want to. We want to let you know that next year we will be doing the duck race. And we want to thank you for the 27 years that you have given to the duck race and made Kitsap County a better place to live.
In Campbell River, they do a duck dip. It's what happens when you want to have a duck race, but you don't have a river. They're going ahead with this event, but when they approached their sponsors, they were very, very careful. If any of them were unable to come on board this year, they gave them a free pass. They thanked them for their past support of this event for years and told them that in honor of that, their name would still remain on the ticket this year. It was Rotary giving back to their sponsors. You can do this. Your small businesses are hurting. We want to keep supporting them. I really like this careful approach to sponsors. I know other clubs have taken the same steps to support past sponsors. It's really important. It may also be an element that you want to add to everything you do to make sure that you're always in greater response with your or greater contact with your sponsors. Hey, in my own club, we hold an annual duck race. We do have a river and we can't use it this year and we had to cancel. But then we looked at what they do in Campbell River with that duck dip. And so we're contemplating having that in a Rotarian swimming pool. We can cut down from 6,000 ducks to 1,000, and that Rotarian's going to jump off his diving board into the pool in a duck suit and scoop out the winners. And you know, I had several club members thinking that we shouldn't be going to the public to even try to sell 1,000 tickets when COVID has caused such financial hardship. And I thought about that. That's a good point. But you know, there are people in the community, just like with Kevin in Grand Prairie with that home lottery, they really want to help. And so I made a suggestion to our club president that she's taking to the fundraising committee. My idea is peanut butter. 1,000 jars of peanut butter. You can create a fun campaign on social media based on the discovery that ducks are wild about peanut butter. For every Ducky 500 ticket we sell, we could donate a jar of peanut butter to the food bank. Then everyone who buys a ticket knows they really bought peanut butter for the food bank. They know the why. And when we were putting this together, I said to Dale, you know, one voice for an hour is going to put people to sleep. And because Dale is really thoughtful and is not as much like me as a district governor, I tend to go on and on and on. I've asked Dale if he would please talk a little bit about what goes on with all the other areas.
What we're talking about now is something that a lot of people responded to when we sent out the email with the questionnaire, and that's what to do. And this could be maybe taking what you already have and making it work during this time, or trying something new, or maybe the solution is to just wait till next year. But this is some of the ideas that we found. So this is our opportunity to share some of the ideas that our clubs and other organizations are using. We'll share some names of websites or applications that are being used, but I have to emphasize that you have to do all the hard work on this, because We are not the source of all knowledge in the universe, surprisingly enough. If you see something that piques your interest, follow up on it. If it's one of our clubs, contact them, find out how it's working. But it's going to be work. And this is maybe a low-tech solution, but there are a number of clubs that do a flag subscription. It's basic, but it works, and right now it's extremely popular. It's a pretty simple concept. People sign up for an annual fee. They get a flag on their lawn 4 times a year for special occasions. In Canada, that would be the May long weekend, the July 1st long weekend, the BC Day long weekend, and Labor Day. And so the flag shows up on the lawn before the date and gets picked up a few days after. I know that Oak Bay, who does this, their subscriptions to this have just boomed this year because people are looking to support this. But one of the things I want to point out is that it's not something that you can just take on lightly, because there's a lot of inventory. If you're going to do this, you have to plan it to be something that you're going to do for a number of years to recoup your investment. And then of course you've got the scheduling and that customer contact. You want to keep those customers, so you want to make sure that you're following up with them every year. And here's another one. It's either high tech or low tech. But like take, for instance, the Campbell River Rotary Club. They hold a TV auction. The Rotary Clubs in Port Hardy and Port McNeil do it on the radio. You can still do that whether there's social distancing or not. And they've added an online option to it. But if you're thinking of taking your auction online, the most important thing is finding the software to do it, whether it's an app or you're using a vendor or you've got somebody in the club who can design it for you, and deciding whether it's a silent type auction or whether you're going to do it like a live auction and raise the paddle. You have to solicit goods from the community, decide when enough is enough, because of course, an online auction you can do over the course of an entire year. You don't have to do it just for a specific time. Taking photos, determining fair market values so that you can encourage people to go towards those. Set starting bid amounts, let people know about the auction. Boy, that's, and when Maureen talked about who's in your club, if your marketing is that you're going to have your club members go out to all their social media friends and publicize it, it would be helpful if you knew that your club members actually have friends on social media. You have to present the goods in an attractive light to bidders, hold the auction, arrange for the delivery, and most important of all, have lots and lots of sponsors, because that's where the money comes from. But I would encourage you to talk to the Campbell River Rotary Club about this, because they do it both on TV and online, and it seems to work really, really well for them. Crowdfunding. This is this can be anything from just a simple GoFundMe to a walkathon, but it's basically raising funds on the internet. And there's lots of platforms out there that you can do that on. It can be GoFundMe or Facebook, but the important thing is that peer-to-peer fundraising campaigns is what they like to call them. But you can do it with anything. You could even live stream a project that you're doing and have an opportunity for people to donate online to it while you're doing it, or run webinars, or even TED Talks have now gone to an online version. You could do your own TED Talks. But right now, I would like to switch you back to Maureen, and she's going to talk about Rotary Pancakes.
You know, this is a really interesting one because some of you hold food-based events like banquets and pancake breakfasts. Now, if you own a food truck and you do it that way, that's great because you can employ the same social distancing your government regulates. But this isn't going to work for meals you host in an event space. So I heard of a Boys and Girls Club who faced this challenge with their annual pancake breakfast. And rather than cancel it, they went virtual. They lined up some inspirational speakers to uplift and motivate people for an hour. They went out to their sponsors and the table captains that have always had and asked for their support. And what happened was the table captains were able to fill their tables beyond expectations. Instead of 10 people, they could now have 50 at a table. They could have 150. There were no restrictions on a virtual table size. This is your opportunity to be innovative. Another club is looking at their annual banquet and considering hiring a restaurant to prepare the meal and then have it delivered. Can you imagine what that would look like to their entire community if every Rotarian had a magnetic decal on the side of their vehicle announcing the event as the Rotary on Wheels Dine Around or something like that? Don't let COVID-19 stop you from doing things. Let it be the catalyst that inspires you to rethink what you have always done.
And you can do performances online. One group was doing an American Idol sort of thing where they all of the people who wanted to audition for it had to pay a fee, $25. But if you get 1,000 people who want to audition for their talent show, hey, you've got a fundraiser, or a lip sync battle, or TED Talks, or even there's this fellow by the name of Jesse Carey who raised $36,000 by challenging people to pledge money, and he listened to Nickelback for 7 days straight. I don't think that you have to, put yourself through that kind of hell in order to raise money, but there are options. And a lot of the what you need, of course, is to find apps that will work for you. I'm using this one as an example from Soapbox Exchange because their big thing is donor tracking. I think it's not unusual that a Rotary Club will have hundreds, thousands of people who support their raffle, their auction, their whatever event, and the Rotary Club doesn't keep track of who the heck they are. This one uses Salesforce as the back end of it, and they keep track of their donors and they keep in touch with them. And if you consider World Vision, if you have ever made a donation to World Vision, they know it, they know you, and they will keep in touch with you. And I think that we have to consider that people, if they contributed, they're likely to contribute again. And you can amend your event. You can have a virtual charity run. So you can't run in groups. You can take pledges from people to run or walk any number of miles or kilometers, or on consecutive days, or outdoors or indoors, or with their dogs. You set up a peer-to-peer fundraising tool like some of the ones we talked about. You can still have them join as individuals or teams. You can send out the T-shirt. Charge them a fee for signing up. You can add inspiring messages, fundraising tips. You could, doesn't have to be running. It could be yoga. But the important thing is that you create a unique landing page on your website so that people can know how to get involved, that you design straightforward call to action options, and then have the instructions clearly and easily accessible with a button that they can click so that it's simple for them, and then give them a reminder of why they're doing it, what their impact is. You know, if the money is going to the food bank, do that. So you can also do things like a virtual golf tournament. One club, what they did was $55 for the virtual golf tournament. They got a virtual golf toolkit and challenges, a putting cup and a golf ball, a pass for half off a round of golf at, this one was done in Spruce Grove, and ingredients for an Irish coffee and a tax receipt for $25. It's just whatever you can imagine you can do. Or take the Port Orchard Rotary Club with their online auction. This is a great concept because they have taken their annual crab feed and auction, they put it online. It actually starts today, so you can support them on this, because they have, over the last 5 years, provided $20,000 to $28,000 for scholarships, done all sorts of things. And they used a company called Max Giving to be their app that they ran this in. So check with them to see how it worked for them. It doesn't have to be that one. There's all sorts of other ones like Bloomerang and Virtuous and Fundly and so on. But talk to the guys who are doing it and see how they're doing with it. Sydney by the Sea Rotary Club did their raffle online, and their two main recipients are the Food Rescue Network, which takes expired food from grocery stores and repurposes it, does wonderful things, and Hudson House that supports recovery housing for women. And they used a company called Raffle Nexus to run their raffle. How about the Evergreen Health Foundation in Seattle? This is one of my district governors who will be in the same year as me, Kay Peterson from the Seattle Club in 5030. She's on this foundation. They had a $1 million goal, and they raised $1.25 million. It's you can have an ungala. You can do so many things with just a little bit of imagination. They used a company called Octria, who also does auctions as well. And then you've got, I know a lot of clubs that have book sales have said that, oh, gee, we don't think we could do that anymore. Oxfam in England just makes almost all of the money for their good works by selling their books online. And John O'Brien from Parksville had a great idea of getting all of the Rotary clubs together to do quarterly book sales that could be shared between the clubs. Just to talk to John O'Brien up in Parksville. He can tell you all about it. And what about the Rotary Club of Chemainus? They decided to do a bottle drive to get the refunds on it. And now every Saturday they are doing this from 10 till 2. And I believe in their first go around with it, they got $2,800 worth of bottles dropped off because it was all going to local relief and people knew what it was going to be used for. And now I'd like Maureen to talk about Hobbies.
Oh, hey, this is something I mentioned earlier, that the talents of one Rotarian can help raise funds. Well, I just wondered about that, because right now everybody's at home and they're waiting for this global pandemic to subside, and they've got extra time on their hands, or maybe they're just eager to try new things or learn new skills, or maybe just have a little fun. We could take advantage of this opportunity by offering virtual cooking lessons as a fundraiser. And it doesn't have to be limited to cooking. You could do a variety of things online. People will be excited to learn something new and support a great cause. You can ask someone in Rotary to lead the class, or if they know somebody that has the ability to lead a class. Maybe we can even end up with a whole bunch of celebrity Rotarian chefs because of it. Again, just think outside the box.
I just want to point out that one of the clubs, I think it was in Saanich, that set up a donation through CanadaHelps.org and managed to get their donations matched 2 for 1. Canada Helps is a charity itself that accepts donations for other charities, and they have a peer-to-peer and events management software in there as well. And what about Rotary itself? Here you go. How many people attended the Rotary live stream telethon? You know, it raised what, $500,000 or $600,000 for a couple of hours of different Rotarians' time.
This is something that I absolutely love, because you guys sent us a whole bunch of great ideas, and you told us about things that I didn't even know existed. Like Yelm, they took advantage of a program offered through Amazon. And so basically how it works is it's like having a wedding registry. Your club enters their Amazon wish list of items based on what you think that your charity needs in your community. And then people can purchase them for you. It's just, like I say, a wedding registry. And Amazon also has a site called Amazon Smile, where they donate 0.5% of the price of your eligible purchases to the charitable organization of your choice. Now, this one's only available in the US, and you need to be a 501c3 to register, but it is a great activity to get both products and money into your community.
Here's perhaps one of the simplest things that you can do. On your website, have a button that says Donate Now. The Olympia Rotary Club has that on their website, and these are some of the tools that Maureen has come across that are rated the best in their category as far as donation software is concerned. Anybody who wants any of this, we'd be happy to send them a copy of this PowerPoint, or have it shareable afterwards. Or if you just take out your phone, you can take a photo of it or do a screenshot. And I would also like to point out this. This is from the website from Tacoma 8, and they of course have sponsors for their website, but they also have sponsors for their meetings. So if you want to be a sponsor of a meeting for Tacoma 8, you pay them some money, and you can promote your business at the meeting in exchange for those fees. The other thing that is done in a lot of clubs in other parts of the world, like Europe, for example, they just get their members to pay for everything. They don't do fundraising. And I don't know how many times I have been selling ducky tickets out in front of Canadian Tire, and somebody who I've been selling tickets with said, oh, gee, you know, I wish I didn't have to do this. I'd be happy to just pay the $1,000 and not have to do it. Consider it as a possibility. And we are now at the point where we can ask if anybody has any questions.
Dale, I copied some down while you were talking out of the chat.
Okay.
One of them, you were talking about the Port Orchard Club and the fact that it was happening right now, that it was live. And I see that they posted that their goal is $100,000, and their auction was live for 10 minutes and they were already at $6,000. But the question that came out of that is, what's the percentage that people have to pay an online auction service? So I just wonder if there's somebody from Port Orchard that would put up their little blue hand in the participants box, and so we can identify you and see if you can tell us how much of a percentage you pay for that service.
And if not, I can tell you that of the research that I have done, it seems to be that somewhere around 5% is the norm, although there's fees and credit card fees and that sort of thing. So Barry, you have got your hand up.
Yeah, we're considering using a website called, I can't remember quite now, but something Nexus.
Mm-hmm.
And they charge 10% of the gross ticket sales.
Okay, that seems a little high, but I guess it depends on what services they're going to provide for that.
Yeah, they have lots of different services, but some of them are included and some of them, of course, are extra. But
okay.
they do help design tickets and all kinds of other things, and they track all of your donations as well and have different price tickets like $10 for one, 3 for 20, 10 for 50, and they can track all of that very easily.
Okay. Win, you have your hand up.
Yeah, this is Win from Lakewood. We're using Max Giving this year to do our first online auction, and Max Giving is and this online auction is part of Auction Tracker, which is the auction program we've been using for years. Years ago, we initially paid for the Auction Tracker software at about $1,200. And now that we are going with this on live, they charge about $8.95 to do one or to set up your website and connect it to a credit card system. So that's been our experience.
That's really interesting. I know that one of the things that came up as a note on the chat box, Dale, I'd just like to mention is somebody said, will there be a district website to share ideas? We're really working on that. That's something that Caleb Sommerfeld will be our public image person next year, and he does our district magazine, so you know how incredibly qualified he is with anything visual, and we're really hoping we can get that going. But I had somebody that had their name in the chat box that wanted to ask a question, and I believe it was Janet. Janet, can you put your hand up so we can find you? With 223 names, I just can't quickly put my thumb on that name. So
this is Janet. I'm with Gateway Rotary, and my question, not just as far as fundraising ideas, but could all of these different events within our district that are district items, not other things, but just only Rotary district events, could those all be posted on the district Facebook? That would allow the public, if we share, but also would allow people in other clubs to help with those fundraisers in different areas. Just, sharing and spreading, and as we travel and meet over the next few years, as we are able to, as far as connection. That's my question. Thank you.
That's a brilliant question and a wonderful idea. So this is really what happens when you get a bunch of Rotarians talking. You come up with great ideas. Are you, I'm not gonna ask everybody to chime in on this, but if you are not currently a member of the Facebook Rotary District 5020 members, join it, because that's why that website was set up. I spoke earlier about past District Governor Kevin Hilgers, who had that big dream lottery. He got that site going for us because the District 5020 Facebook page is more of an outward facing instrument. It's more about for the public in just getting to know what Rotary is, but the District 5020 members site is all about what you're doing, sharing it. And I think that if we could really open that up, that it would be a wonderful opportunity to get that out. We should be in a situation where if I drive into Polsbo, I should know that you've got something on. I need to get to, Hounds on the Hill or whatever's happening. So Janet, thank you for that. Great idea.
Okay, and Liz Heath.
Hi, I'm in Tacoma. I'm a member of the Tacoma North Rotary, but I've been in fundraising a good portion of my life. And years ago, I worked with the Boys and Girls Clubs. We did joint fundraising, and the principles that we used are really useful. I have brought this up with Rotary a few times over the years with not much luck, but what we did was every club received in total a percentage of the money raised based on the number of sponsorships each club got, the number of people who bought tickets through each club, and that then gave us a percentage to divvy up the raise the paddle and all of that. I would really like to see some combination of effort because I think the smaller clubs can have much greater impact.
That's a good point. I think that anything that we can do together, being cooperative makes a huge difference. And you know, don't feel that cooperation doesn't exist, because it certainly does. I look at what Rotary has done in Pierce County with the Mary Bridge Hospital for abused children. I mean, you get a bunch of Rotarians, put them on a bike, and you raise millions of dollars. Absolutely phenomenal. So yes, talk to each other, do those joint efforts.
Also, don't forget, if you have an auction, there's nothing like getting somebody from Vancouver Island to contribute something to your auction down in Pierce County, and substitute something from Pierce County for the guys up in Vancouver Island, because you're bound to raise more money. You know, nobody necessarily wants to pay a bunch for something that's happening in their own town.
I have to thank everybody today for coming out and joining us this morning. And so on behalf of District Governor Designate Dale, I want to thank you all for spending this hour with us. We had a set of goals, and I believe we accomplished them. This all works best if we really do share what we're doing. We have your emails, and so if you don't object, I'll send you everything I can in the way of slides and chat comments. And if you share your events and the results of your events with your assistant governor, that would be amazing. It'd be a great start to getting the information at the district level. And I want you to go out there and enjoy the rest of the sessions that you're taking. And I'll see you at 5 o'clock tonight when RI President Mark Maloney joins us for our wrap-up cocktail party. Aloha and mahalo.